Going on, everybody? My name is Blitzwinger, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new FanBoyPotion video. And today we've got something pretty awesome, something quite exciting. This past Tuesday was, of course, the release date for this awesome game. I've had a lot of fun with it so far, and that is WWE 2K16. And of course, today we're going to be setting up and starting up our Universe Mode. Now, going forward, there's going to be a new episode of WWE Universe Mode basically every single Friday for as long as you guys enjoy them. That's essentially kind of the goal so far. So hopefully you guys will have fun with that. I hope that you guys will enjoy it, of course. And with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, let's get rocking and rolling. Today's going to be very much a setup episode. There's not going to be any matches or anything, but we're going to essentially kind of lay out most of the components of the Universe Mode. And I want you guys to help me a little bit in the decision-making process, which is why I didn't want to have any matches take place yet. So some of the things that I'm uncertain on, I want you guys to contribute. So please listen, and additionally to that, help me out by commenting in the comment section below with your own ideas, perspectives, and so on. And with that in mind, also, of course, if you guys enjoyed today's video and you want to see more WWE Universe Mode, please don't forget to leave a like. So here's the WWE Universe Mode itself, and I wanted to essentially, right off the bat, get some stuff out there that is like my personal things that I would prefer to see in the WWE. We're going to implement here in our Universe Mode because that's the way that I think would be a lot more entertaining, a lot more interesting to actually enjoy this content. And I think that the form of entertainment that is known as pro wrestling is a little better off enjoyed in this manner. Now, again, that's just my opinion, so if you guys disagree, that's completely fine, but it's the kind of thing that I think we are going to implement. So first of all, what I did was I did separate out whoops, I just downloaded Braun Strowman here, so I forgot to change his affiliation to just SmackDown. So essentially what I did do is would you like to save these settings? Did I press no? Yes, I did. Okay. Oh, no, I pressed correctly. All right. So essentially, what I had wanted to do was bring in and introduce the brand separation again. I'm a big fan of having SmackDown and Raw be different experiences, and I think that it kind of benefits to showcase talent in a more comprehensive manner that way than having two different shows a week that are essentially kind of treading water over the exact same storylines over and over again, whereas once we're on Raw, there's one set of storylines that is happening there, and when we're on SmackDown, there's a set storyline or storylines that are happening there. Now, the other thing is that, does that mean that we're going to be introducing a brand new championship? Nope. We're still going to maintain just the titles that are currently there. In fact, I'm thinking of eliminating the United States Championship and just having the World title, the Intercontinental title, the Tag Team title, and then the Divas title, which I think we're going to change to the Women's Championship because I'm not a big fan of that title. I think it's kind of ugly, and I don't know. I just think the Women's title is way cooler. So that being said, let's go ahead and quickly kind of run down the two rosters. You might have noticed when I was deciding the affiliation of the shows that each roster is about 45 members strong, and there is going to be a little bit of overlap because like all the tag team competitors and all the divas are going to be competing on both shows just because there's simply not enough talent to have two different tag team divisions and such, or two different divas divisions. So we're going to keep that together and have them showcase on both Raw and SmackDown, and I think that that should play out quite well. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and get rocking rolling. So Braun Strowman, along with the rest of the Wyatt family, who you'll see in a moment, are all going to be SmackDown competitors. Adam Rose is going to be representing SmackDown and only SmackDown. Of course, over time, we're going to introduce other wrestlers to the show, so people like Aiden English and Johnny Gash, I think was his name, from NXT. They're going to make their way to the main events and to the main shows, I should say, but we're going to introduce them as the Universe Mode keeps going. I don't want to just have everybody oversaturating the marketplace, so to speak, at once. So there's Alicia Fox, our first diva there. Andre the Giant, obviously not associated with any of these shows. We've got Bad News Barrett right here. I have him affiliated with both shows right now because I'm kind of thinking of putting him in a tag team because I just feel like, again, when you have 45 performers, even with the overlap and everything, you're talking about, let's say, 30 performers. I just don't know if if there's enough room for him to be in a key storyline right now. So I think it'd be better for him to kind of be a part of a tag team where he can be showcased more and utilize him as a talent in that regard. So then once he builds up some momentum in the actual Universe Mode, we can then separate the tag team and then just take him off on his own singles run. So that's kind of the idea right now. We have some of the stars I'm not going to touch on, like, of course, the ones that are NXT or not specific to any affiliation. We're just going to kind of hover over. Big E is affiliated with both. Big Show is going to be a SmackDown superstar only, just because I think he'll be a good kind of talent that could rub off that kind of superstar status on some of the other talents. So I think he'll be a good kind of a gatekeeper type character that we could use to elevate different talents like Cesaro and some other guys that I have in mind. Then we have, of course, Mr. Bo Dallas, who's going to be on the Raw show. Booker T. I don't know what's up with this picture. I just realized he looks kind of like way too ginormous. I don't know what's up with that. There's Bray Wyatt, who's going to be SmackDown exclusive. And I know some people are like, what? How dare you take Bray Wyatt to SmackDown? But I want him to be a main event status performer, and I feel like if we keep him on Raw and if I separate the two brands, I don't know that he would be able to be there consistently, just because you have a whole bunch of other talent that is involved there. Like, you got Brock and Cena and Seth and Roman, and there's a lot of guys that are up there. So I'm not sure about Brave, whereas on SmackDown, we can certainly make him a main event talent. Then we've got Brie. Brock, as I mentioned, is a Raw talent. There's Cesaro, who is actually only on SmackDown, but I might add him back on Raw because he is currently in a tag team with Tyson Kidd. So I'm not sure if we're going to separate them right away. I'm not sure. You see, it's kind of tough to decide with Mr. Cesaro, because I want him to be in a singles, obviously, performer. I want him to be a singles performer, and one that's up there on the main shows, but I don't know if we want to put him in there right away. So I'm not too certain about that. I guess we'll decide that as we continue. What is this? Contender setting? Ooh, you can even decide where he currently stacks. That's kind of cool. I actually didn't know that. That's really, really neat. Very, very cool. So I guess we could separate him from his tag team as we carry on. So, yeah, he's probably going to be separated. We're probably going to separate him from Tyson Kidd, and that means that I need to adjust where Tyson Kidd is. Chris Jericho is not on either show right now because I think he'll be a cool kind of talent to bring in and out, just like he does in the real WWE. Same thing goes for Christian. I think he'd be a cool addition every now and then for some special matches. We have Curtis Axel, who's going to be a Raw talent only. He's probably going to be, for the most part, in the lower kind of feuds and utilized for the most part in some, not jobber matches, but like enhancement matches. Now, keep in mind, I have created some jobbers that we're going to utilize to actually have like enhancement type matchups as well. Damian Mizdow is he was actually supposed to be on just Raw, but I'm going to put him on SmackDown as well because I'd like him and Miz to stay in a tag team because I don't have anything that I think as Damian Mizdow we can do for him. Of course, if we just turn him into Damian Sandow, the problem is he's done up fully to be Mizdow, so we kind of have to stick with that character for the time being, unless if I download a different version, of course. There's Dan Pillar, who is going to be one of our jobbers on the different shows, so we're going to throw him on both shows. So he will be one of the talents that's just kind of thrown out there to obviously have a quick squash match and handsome guys, because you don't want to always have guys just fighting one another without any storylines. Whereas if it's just against some local talent, so to speak, it's like, well, great. You don't really know much about them, so you are not as invested in the storyline, and you can build up a talent. So I think that could be a pretty cool idea. Daniel Bryan is going to be one, of course, of the big stars over on SmackDown. So it's him and Wyatt and Cesaro and a couple others that are going to be kind of heading up that particular side of things. There's Mr. Darren Young, who's going to be, of course, a part of the tag team division, so he is affiliated with both Raw and SmackDown. Dean Ambrose is going to be a SmackDown exclusive talent, and the reason for that is because, again, I just think it's a cool idea for Dean to have some more attention. He can be a much higher caliber talent on SmackDown than he can be on Raw, because I think on Raw we have Seth, Roman, all the other guys that I mentioned before, so I think he could fit in better on SmackDown and showcase his talents better. Now, again, I also do want to have once a year kind of a draft type thing where we will redraft and some characters will change sides, so that could be really, really cool. Then we have Mr. Dolph Ziggler right here, who is a Raw talent. There's Emma, who's available on both. Eric Rowan, of course, part of the Wyatt family. He will be hanging out on the SmackDown side of things. There's Eva Marie. Fandango is going to be a SmackDown talent as well. Finn Balor, of course, representing NXT like a boss. Fit Finlay, looking kind of funny, but not representing anyone at this point in time. I decided to reunite the Rhodes brothers into the Rhodes Scholars. So him and Goldust are going to be him and Goldust. Him and Stardust are going to be a team again, because I really, really love that tag team, and I honestly think they kind of got broken apart a little bit early, so I definitely want to throw them back into the tag team division, especially if we're taking out Cesaro and Kid. This will be a great replacement tag team to take their spot, because they are just an excellent team and performers. So then, of course, we have Heath Slater, who is Raw only. There's Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Jack Swagger is going to be on Raw as well. There's Jay and, I guess Jim Taxi has broken up in here. Jim Taxi is, again, one of our enhancement talents. He's going to be one of the jobbers that we use, and the reason why his name is Taxi is because his outfit is predominantly all yellow, and then the bottom is had like these checkered-like designs, kind of like a taxi cab. So he will be, again, another enhancement talent. We have Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso there. John Cena is going to be, of course, representing the flagship show Raw. Kalisto is there, which is awesome. This was one character that I wasn't sure what to do with, was Kane. I couldn't decide what to do with Kane, because I was like, I don't know what show to put him on. I really thought, okay, first he's going to go on SmackDown, because I think he would fit in better, kind of him and Big Show be on the SmackDown side of things. Then I had the idea, okay, what if we do Big Show and Kane as a tag team like they used to be? They were very dominant. They could be a cool kind of threat to a lot of the other tag team division. But then I was like, okay, I don't know if that could work out, especially because we're starting to have a lot of tag teams now, so maybe tag teams won't have time to shine. So essentially what I've decided on is, for now, he's going to be SmackDown and Raw, but this is one of those things that I would love your help with. Let me know, would you prefer to see him be on Raw only or on SmackDown only? I think he could fit on both and act as a just kind of pure heel type character on either one of the shows. I know right now, obviously on current TV, he is a babyface. I don't know if you can actually turn him into Demon Kane. I don't know, like, if we select him, can you turn him into a different attire? Because I've not checked yet. But if you can, obviously it would be Demon Kane, which then I think makes the decision a little bit easier, and I think we would put him on Raw. Then we have Mr. Kevin Owens, who's going to be a Raw-only talent, and he will be representing kind of upper mid-card talent. I think over time we can build him up to a main event status talent, but I think right now, with the way that Raw will be stacked, I think he could be a great kind of very difficult challenge for the main eventers to defeat. Like, if you defeat Kevin Owens, you know you're legitimately tough and you're ready to rock, so to speak. Kofi Kingston, part of the New Day, and also our tag team champions. There's Connor, who's also going to be part of the tag team division, of course. Layla is part of both sides of the brands. There's Luke Harper, representing, of course, SmackDown, since he's part of the Wyatt family. Mark Henry is going to be on Raw. I think he's going to be a good kind of counterbalance to the Big Show. Big Show is going to be on SmackDown and be this huge, obviously very impressive physical force, and then you've got Mark Henry doing the exact same kind of role on Raw, where he will be like, I think we'll definitely need to make sure that Mark Henry doesn't get defeated often, and it's like when a main event talent defeats him, or like him and, let's say, Kevin Owens could have a cool like feud or something like that for that upper mid card spot. So I think that could work really, really well. Then we have The Miz right here, Naomi, Natalia. The Miz, by the way, is, I forgot to adjust him because he is going to be a part of Mizdow. So we need to adjust that to make sure that he is on both, of course, shows as a result of that. Neville is going to be a SmackDown-only talent. I think he'll be a cool talent to kind of contest for a lower rank title. We have Nikki Bella, of course, representing the Divas Championship there, I guess. So we're going to adjust the title itself, but I don't mind her being champion right now. Then we've got Paige, also... Oh, she's the NXT Women's Champion. Okay. Wait. Oh, yeah, because I forgot they didn't include Becky or Sasha or Charlotte or Bayley, which kind of stinks. I hope they would add them. But then again, you have custom stuff, so we could always add them through the custom designs, and we will certainly do that because it'd be awesome. Then we have R-Truth, who's going to be on SmackDown. Again, kind of a... I don't have huge plans for him, so he'll be kind of like a mid-card, maybe lower mid-card talent that we could utilize in some fun storylines and such. Randy Orton. This was an interesting decision because I was like, okay, he's going to go SmackDown, of course. But then I was like, you know what? I think Randy Orton, at this point in his career, he could be a really great, also kind of gateway type talent. And what I mean by that is I'm not particularly interested in having Randy Orton be like a very dominant champion or anything like that. I know he could be. I mean, we could obviously turn him heel and have him be a big bad guy on the show. But I almost would rather for him to be this kind of talent that, again, just like the Big Show, where once you defeat him, it's like, okay, now you're in that new echelon of talent, and he would always be still kind of fingertips away from the title. So he'll always be in that main event spot, but not quite in the spot, if you know what I mean. Then we have Randy Savage, Ric Flair, of course, Rick Rude, The Rock. The Rock is just on neither show because, again, I think we'll bring him in, but on very special occasions like, WrestleMania or something special like that. Roman Reigns going to be representing Raw, and we will hopefully build him up to be one of the top stars on that show, so that could be really cool for sure. Rusev, on the other hand, is going to be thrown over to SmackDown. I'd love for him to start kind of rebuilding his character because I think he'd be cool. In fact, I think Rusev versus Randy Orton sounds like a pretty awesome feud to me. I think that could lead to some really cool matchups and kind of have both talents shine, so to speak. Ryback, who's currently Intercontinental Champion, is going to be on the SmackDown show because, of course, the Intercontinental title is going to be the biggest title on the SmackDown show. That's going to be the flagship title of that show. So, obviously, I don't know if Ryback is going to be champion necessarily. We're going to adjust that probably because I'm not sure that I would want him to be champion on that show. But we could always, of course, have some sort of tournament or something, or just strip him of the title since we're starting a brand new universe mode. We could start fresh instead of having any baggage from current storylines. Sami Zayn, who I want to definitely bring up to the main roster as soon as possible, but I don't want to just push him there for no reason. So for now, he's going to stay at NXT, but we'll put him hopefully up in some sort of cool storyline. Then we've got Santino Marella right here, who is looking very cool, and he will be, of course, on Raw. Seth Rollins, also on Raw, obviously WWE World Heavyweight Champion, which is awesome, and also United States Champion, I believe. Yep, there it says it right there. So obviously that doesn't hold truth anymore, but it's cool that they have him holding both titles at once. Sheamus is going to be a Raw-only talent as well. I just think we would need some good bad guys over there since we've got, like, John Cena, Roman Reigns. Who else? There's another big babyface on there. No? I don't remember. Somebody else. There's another big good guy character on Raw. We need some bad guys to rival that, so Sheamus would be a good one to throw there. There's Simon Gotch. Sin Cara, of course, part of the Lucha Dragons, so therefore he will be on both shows. Stardust, same thing applies to him. There's Stephanie McMahon? No, McMahon, and she is on neither show because, again, on special occasions, we could have her wrestling a match as well. Then Sting, same thing. Special occasions, we'll bring him in to some shows and such. Tamina, Summer Rae, obviously, on both shows. I forgot to change Summer Rae's to be off of NXT. We have Titus O'Neil, also, of course, a part of the tag team division, so both shows. Triple H, same thing about a special attraction. Tyler Breeze is going to be a SmackDown talent, because I think, obviously, since he debuted on SmackDown already, that's very fitting to have him there. Tyson Kidd now, we're going to need to adjust this, and I think I'd rather have Tyson Kidd. Well, you see, now the SmackDown roster is getting a little bit bigger than the Raw one, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. All right, let's just have him then on Raw. Since we have Cesaro on SmackDown, that would make sense. Ultimate Warrior, Undertaker. Undertaker's on both shows. Again, couldn't decide with him either, just like Kane. Do we have him active? I don't think so. So you know what? I just made the decision on the fly. We're going to remove him from both shows. He'll be a special attraction that will only come in every now and then for some special matchups. Victor, of course, also both shows. Xavier Woods, also both shows because of the New Day. And Zack Ryder will be on Raw. So that is kind of the summary of both rosters. Obviously took a little bit longer than I had anticipated, but I wanted to run through that and make sure that it was quite clear. We are going to go ahead and delete this tag team, as I mentioned before. As far as our tag teams goes, we have the Rhodes Scholars, we have the Vaudevillains. Obviously, these two talents are NXT only, so keep that in mind. The Vaudevillains and Enzo Amore and Cassidy are NXT only. Then we have the Lucha Dragons, very cool. Bella Twins, Naomi and Tamina, Ascension, The Miz and Mizdow, so the Mizdow team, Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, our team. There's an empty slot right there. There is actually, you know what? What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add Braun Strowman to that team there, because I think that could be a cool idea. So we're going to go ahead and hit accept there. Then we have the Usos and the New Day, as well as the Primetime Players. So that's our entire tag team division right there. I think that's pretty good, and probably will get better, of course. Hopefully will get better as we carry on. So now let's continue with the title side of things. So Seth Rollins, I think, is probably a good champion to start with. Again, I know obviously some people are not big fans of Seth Rollins, but hopefully we can kind of present him in a more interesting manner over time. Now, I would like to go ahead and remove this title completely. I don't know how you can do that. I don't know if you can actually. Can you make a title completely gone? I'm not sure. I guess we'll find out over time here. But essentially, can you make this just like blank? Superstars overall? Nope. Okay, I don't know if you can make these just blank, unfortunately. So maybe it's like there's something at the bottom that I missed. No, I don't see anything. There's nothing like that says like default or something along those lines. That's just blank. I don't think that's an option, unfortunately, at this time. Vacant? Maybe it's under V and I just missed it. Let's see. Maybe I did miss it. I do not see it. It should have been right here, like between those two. So I don't think that's an option, unfortunately. So we're obviously going to have a tournament for that Intercontinental Championship. Now, let's see. We have a whole bunch of other cool titles. Part of me wanted to introduce, go ahead and introduce the, what is it called? The Cruiserweight Championship. So eliminate the United States title and then bring in the Cruiserweight title. So SmackDown would have Cruiserweight Championship and the Intercontinental title, kind of both of those. And then Raw would be the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, the tag titles, the Divas Championship. So those kind of balancing those out. But I think the Cruiserweight Championship might be able to be on both shows, actually, which could work out, right? Like if we had lighter weight guys competing for that, I think that could be kind of exciting. But again, let me know if that's a good idea. Let me know if you guys would like to see that. The United States title would be scrapped. We would vacate that and then introduce the Cruiserweight division back. So we would have, talents like Tyson Kidd and like Neville and so on and so forth competing for this championship and making their division important as well, and not in any way like saying, oh, well, there's just a small guy, so who cares? So I think we could do that, and I think it'd be kind of cool to have that happen. So let me know if you guys think that's a good idea. So what other things do we need to adjust here? We have story options are basically all on default. I didn't mess with this at all. So automatic rivalries are on. I'm not sure if that's a good idea, but I guess we'll see how it works out on this year's game. We have the Royal Rumble winners rivalry, the Undertaker's WrestleMania rivalry. I think we're going to turn that off because I don't want to do anything Undertaker related without like having some type of control over it. So I think we're going to turn that off. Survivor Series rivalry, I have no idea what that even means, so I guess we'll find out. Tag team breakups, and formations. That doesn't sound too fun either. I mean, especially if it's done poorly, that could be a really, really big bummer. So we're just going to turn that off for now. Crowd reaction changing. I guess we could keep that on for the time being. Sure. And then the injury one, I'm going to keep it on just to see how it works, because I think that could throw in an interesting kind of creative monkey wrench into our storylines where we're like, okay, well, there was a huge injury that occurred this past pay-per-view, so now we have to improvise. And what do we do now? So I think that could be a really, really cool component. So now let's go to our calendar. We're going to delete main event. We're also going to delete NXT, not because I don't love it. I think it's probably my favorite weekly show, but we're going to delete it just because we're going to only have SmackDown and Raw as our main shows, so keep that in mind. Now, in terms of pay-per-views, I am not a fan of pay-per-views that are revolving around one match type, so we're going to eliminate those, and we're going to get rid of those and replace them with different things. So we're going to keep Extreme Rules. That's okay, even though Extreme Rules is a match type, so to speak. I think it's a vague enough name that it's not specific to a match type, so I'm okay with it. Payback, same thing. Money in the Bank, even though you could say, well, it's a Money in the Bank ladder match, it's okay because that's what the whole storyline is revolving to for that particular match, so to speak. Battleground, same thing. SummerSlam, all right. Night of Champions, all right. Hell in a Cell, that's one we're going to adjust. I'm not a fan of having that as a pay-per-view specifically, so we're just going to go ahead and head to our show details where we can now adjust specific things like the show logo and everything, so that should be pretty cool. So let's see, what are we going to call it? I also did get rid of TLC, so you'll see what that is now. We could call it Rivalries. I think that could work. Let's go with Rivalries, why not? Our matchup screen is going to be... Okay, I guess we can't use any of that. So let's go with... let's go with the steel, so it's all rough and tough and rugged and cool, I guess. Arena... Okay, are there any custom arenas that you can have? I don't think so. So I'm not too sure as to what we're going to make this. Is there something that's a little bit more like neutral? Like just like a WWE arena? Maybe we could put it as Superstars? That could work, right? Make it Superstars? Let's do that. I think that could work. Let's go with Superstars. Transition design. Is there any customs? Or are there any customs? I don't think so. Let's go with the WWE 2K16 logo. And then the steel one for our replay screen. All right, so we're going to go ahead and change this to Rivalries. Or maybe Rivals even. I think that sounds cooler. Rivals, there we go. So that will work. Again, that doesn't mean that we're not going to have Hell in a Cell matches. Obviously, it will happen. I just don't think that you need a pay-per-view that's revolving around a mandatory Hell in a Cell match. I think that match is not as special because of that. So that's why we're going to change that up. Our match theme, is there something like just normal? Is there like no theme? Can we do no theme? SummerSlam, Night of Champions. What is SummerSlam? What's the match theme for SummerSlam? I don't even know what that means. Or Payback, I guess that's rematches. That would make sense. Fastlane. Let's go with Fastlane. That's probably the most normal one of the bunch. So the hosting shows, of course, are going to be both for all the pay-per-views, so we're going to keep that. Survivor Series is fine. I replaced TLC with King of the Ring because I think that's a cool component where we could have essentially once a year a King of the Ring tournament, so that could be fun. At the end of the night, we find out a brand new #1 contender, and I think it's cool around the December time to find out the contender via the King of the Ring, because then you have a cool championship match at the Royal Rumble. So I think it kind of works well in that regard. Fastlane is just fine, and of course WrestleMania is WrestleMania, and it is essentially you cannot touch it. So that's the way that that's going to be. Now, let's go ahead and adjust some things on both Raw and SmackDown, since that's something that we need to work out as well. Number of matches, I think probably 5 is better than 7, so we're going to keep that to 5. Our participants are going to be all of the Raw performers, right? So I think that's the 46 performers right there. Championships, we're going to keep the World Heavyweight Championship. The singles title, can we just not have a title at all? That's what I'd really, really rather have as the situation here. I'm not sure if... Oh, vacate the title. Perfect. There we go. So tag titles are, of course, going to be on both shows. Divas Championship is going to be changing to the Women's Championship, and we're going to make Nikki Bella champion since she is already the champion. So that's just fine. We've adjusted that. Now we're going to go ahead. The show's already in progress. The number of matches of this show will be updated next week. Sounds good. That's okay. Now, then we have SmackDown to adjust. Number of participants, 47. That's great. All of that looks just right. Now our participants are great. The world title, we're going to remove from this show. Can we remove it? I don't think we can, you see? Now... is it possible to vacate this and then take this and make the world title the Intercontinental title? Aha, there we go. That works very well. So the Intercontinental Championship is the biggest of the bunch on the SmackDown show. Same thing with the tag titles, and the Divas Championship will be adjusted to the Women's Championship now. So I think that works much better. Number of matches. Also, let's bring that down to 5. And I think that's a pretty good setup right there. All right, so I hope that SmackDown and Raw adjusts overall, right? Yeah, okay, sweet. Perfect. So we've adjusted both of those things. Just a couple more things to adjust. Edit teams, story options, nope. Rivalries, that's another thing I wanted to adjust. So we're going to go to rivalries. We're going to delete both of these because we don't want any rivalries set up already for us. All right, perfect. So that's clean. And we have a clean slate, ladies and gentlemen. We have a clean slate, and we have set up the universe mode. It is ready to rock. Next Friday will be the first part in our universe mode. I think it's going to be hopefully a ton of fun, hopefully quite exciting. We're going to have a tournament to determine the Intercontinental Champion over the next few weeks leading up to the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. So that's going to be taking place on SmackDown. There will be matchups that, of course, happen over time as we get there. Now, I did want to remind you guys, if you've never watched a universe mode video that I've done before, the way that it works is I will book all the matchups for Raw. SmackDown, we will let kind of the system decide, which I hope it will do a pretty good job of. But we'll see, I guess, as it goes on, how it actually turns out. Essentially, though, what we're going to do is let the game kind of book SmackDown for the most part, but we'll see if it gets out of control and it's like all messy, then we're going to obviously adjust that as well. So I'm going to try to start booking and adjusting the way that SmackDown works as well. But with that being said, we're only playing the main events. Or not only the main events, I should say. We're going to play through one matchup per show, because if I played all 5 matches on Raw, all 5 matches on SmackDown, that would make this way, way longer than it needs to be. So because of that, I think we're just going to stick to the one match rule per show. And hopefully that's something that you guys will be okay with. Now, again, if you have any suggestions, ideas that you would like to share with me for the universe mode, please do not hesitate to use the comment section down below to let me know, like, hey, we think it'd be a really cool idea if you let us vote on what match we get to see you play through on each show. So, like, let's say when we end the week, I will book Raw really quick, cut to that so you guys could see the 5 matches, and then you would tell me, like, okay, we really want to see this match, or we really want to see that match, or something like that. Whatever other ideas you guys have, definitely share them with me in the comment section below. I will take into consideration those ideas, and now is a good time to do so, because, again, we are in that first kind of phase where we can adjust things before we get rocking and rolling. So, nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, have a fantastic day. I'll catch all you lovely folks next time. Peace out. See you later, alligators. Bye-bye, everyone.